Hey everyone, welcome back to this channel. So, like I already announced, Object Madness is indeed cancelled. However, in this video, I will be explaining why, as well as answering your questions. So, the last time I made a video regarding Object Madness was months ago, but evidently, a lot has changed since then, and I will reveal what happened. But in order for this to make sense, we have to go all the way back to 2016. During the production of episode 2, I began to slowly lose interest in the series, especially after BFB came back in 2017. This was mainly due to the fact that Object Madness had Tennis Ball, Puffball, and Nickel. And since BFB made its return, viewers could see those characters in their original show, so there wasn't really a point to me anymore. Like, during BFDIA's hiatus, my 13-year-old self was like, oh, I must bring them back, because they were my favorite characters. And originally, Object Madness was supposed to be a prequel to BFDIA, but as time went on and the more I developed the show, it just turned into your standard competition show. I also love Puffball, in case that wasn't already obvious. So over the course of 3 years, I was just completely demotivated to work on my show, but my reasons for the lack of interest were entirely subconscious, to be honest. At that time, I didn't really realize what was holding me back. Well, it was partially laziness, but that shouldn't have been the case. When you're making a project, you should naturally want to do it because you like doing it. And I was lazy and extremely unmotivated because I was working on something I was not interested in. So yeah, years passed of inconsistent and demotivating Object Madness work, and then came 2019, Object Madness Episode 2, Retrieve to Achieve! Yay! I'm going to be blunt, the only reason that episode was completed was because everybody was anticipating it. Like I said, I had no interest. I feel so bad for the people that think Object Madness was so complicated that it physically took so long to produce, when in reality there was just a lack of passion. I released episode 2 summer of 2019, and that following August I started college. I did not work on it the entire time. For nearly a year, there was no progress being made. And I said that in my last update video, which came out July of last year. During that video, I promised everyone that I would start writing the script for episode 3. And so I did. I started writing the script, and it was during this writing process that I realized how much I did not want to do this, especially since I was trying to change everything about the show. Like, there was a scene where Forrest hand comes and takes the BFDI characters, and I was going to replace them with new characters. Then Puffball was supposed to change his name to Buffy? The way the contestants got eliminated was also supposed to change, and it was just a mess. It was so clear that I was trying to change everything in like one episode, and everyone around me could see it except for myself. Like, I showed the script to my friends, and they were like, Brian, this is trash. And I was like, yeah, this is a disaster. I was still contemplating whether or not I should cancel this show though, until Griffin Webster Evans was like, Ryan, do you even want to do this anymore? And I was like, no. And so, yeah, I was done. It wasn't an easy decision, but ultimately it was the best decision for me and for this channel. So yes, Object Madness is over. Object Madness is done. Whew. That was a load. Now on to your questions. I asked you guys on Twitter and the YouTube community tab what questions you had regarding Object Madness's cancellation, or just questions in general, so let's do this. Alright, first question. Any story plans you had planned for Madness? Stuff that deviated from the competition? I did have a couple stories in mind actually. So obviously, Cherry was supposed to be eliminated in episode 3, and during his elimination, he was going to be sent to an alternate universe through a portal. And there he was supposed to meet a bunch of sorcerers and objects with magical powers. Then he came across this witch and has a terrible exchange with her, and she curses him for being a jerk. Then he was supposed to have a change of attitude, become a better person, yada yada yada, all that good stuff, and that would have been his whole character arc. But alas, the idea was garbage. So rest in peace. Another idea I had pertains to what I was talking about earlier, where 4 reaches their hand all the way to Insanity Island and takes Puffball, Tennis Ball, and Nickelback. I'm so funny. Pickaxe tries to stop them by firing cannons and stuff, you know, trying to prevent 4 from stealing his contestants, but ultimately his attempts were futile and the BFDI contestants were gone. So I was undeniably just trying to get rid of those characters by any means, and it was pretty cringe. But I still think them being captured by 4 would have been a sick sequence to make. The following episode, the BFDI characters were going to be replaced with 3 new ones, and the challenge for the 3rd episode was supposed to be bowling. The contestants were going to go across the bridge into the city, into a bowling alley, and play a game, and the Dynamic Daisies were going to lose. Again, the last idea I had was about Puffball. After Puffball left, he revealed to everyone that his real name was Buffy, and Puffball had been forcing him to use the name Puffball because it matched with her name. It was so stupid. So stupid, this idea cemented the cancellation of the show. Next question. If you had decided on a winner, then who would it be? An ideal winner for me would probably have to be Daisy. She was very tenacious, she took leadership, and was very athletic and just got along with everybody. I feel like that's a typical answer, but it's just who I think would have won. Next question. What will happen to Pickaxe? He was my favorite character in OMN, and I'm just wondering if he's going to make a few cameos here and there. That is a good question. I'm really happy that he's your favorite character. I feel like I don't hear that a lot. Pickaxe, after the finale, would have sailed home on a cruise ship with distant, happy memories of the Object Madness season. He just lives his life peacefully. He doesn't really do much. He might make a season 2, who knows? Is he going to make any more cameos? I'm not sure. I'll have to think about that, but watch out, he might appear in something in the future. Have you thought about reusing OM characters in other projects? Yes, I was thinking about reusing Candy Cane in the future. I decided it'd just be better to create a new cast of characters. What is your favorite character to animate and voice? My favorite character to animate and voice is actually Candy Cane. I got to be very expressive when it came to voice acting her. I love voicing obnoxious and sassy characters, and Candy Cane was just the embodiment of that. Naturally, she was fun to animate for those same reasons. Were there any scrapped characters? If so, what were they? Were there any scrapped characters? There were quite a few actually. There was Strawberry, Wineglass, Cotton Candy, Box, and Blade. I don't really know why I scrapped them actually. They probably would have been better than what we had. Next question, who was going to be eliminated in the next episode? Okay, obviously Cherry. He got eliminated with more than half the votes. He got 2,640. Next question, what's going to happen to Football? Is he going to be left in a petrified state? No, Football after the competition would have been released, so don't worry about him. Do you use a mouse or drawing tablet for BFB? I use a tablet. I use a medium-sized Wacom Intuos. Subway or Panda Express? As much as I love myself some Subway, Panda Express is better. Subway or Jimmy John's? Subway. I've never been to Jimmy John's before, but I might try it. If you were able to go back in time, what would you change for Object Madness? Okay, if I was able to go back in time, I probably would have made a more original cast and written every episode by myself. Do you think things would have changed in terms of continuing OM if you made a smaller cast back then? If everything stayed the same with the exception of the cast size, it probably still wouldn't have done better with a smaller cast because I still would have lost motivation for the reasons I explained earlier. If you could change the OM cast, who would you add or remove? I would remove Tennis Ball, Nickel, and Puffball, and probably added some of the characters that I scrapped before episode 1, like Cotton Candy, Blade, and Strawberry. Were any of the characters based off of specific people or tropes? No, none of the characters were based off specific people. However, I did have a friend in high school whose last name was Cherry, and I thought it would have been funny if he voiced the character. Why did you call it Object Madness? Initially, the show was going to be called Insanity Island, but I changed it to Object Madness because I wanted Object in the title name, and Madness is a good synonym for insanity, so I just thought it worked. Was it difficult to decide to cancel the show? Yes, it was a difficult decision. It wasn't impulsive and I did thoroughly think it through. Like I said, I made this decision months ago and it did take me a few weeks to fully come to a conclusion. This isn't ambiguous to anybody. Object Madness is canceled. It is scrapped, it is abandoned, and I will not be bringing it back. I just wanted to reiterate for any of the diehard fans out there, It has been a pleasant learning experience, but I do not wish to continue. I made this show when I was like 13, a literal child. I am 20 now, and as an adult I have a solid idea of what I want to produce, and I no longer want to be subjected to making Object Madness. Unrelated question, but how did you get to be a cameo in Super Epicor? Okay, so my cameo was clearly incidental. During Super Epicor I wasn't online a lot, so I didn't get into the season. But one weekend I saw my friends in the Discord voice channel, and without second thought, I joined and I want to play.
What?
Fuck off!
I honestly don't know why I did that. It was completely an impetuous decision, but it was kept in and it was pretty funny. What had gotten you inspired to start making this object show? Oh, Battle for Dream Island 100%. Without the Huang twins and without that show, I wouldn't be here, wouldn't have this career, and wouldn't have made all the long-lasting friendships that I have, nor would I have gained the animation experience that I currently have. Last question. I'd love to see more from you. Are you planning on making any other Object Show related content or anything else? Thanks, Animation Object Show. And yes, I am making more content. In case you guys do not already know, I'm currently in the production of making an Object movie musical. It's called Starlight, and I am super excited to finally announce this in a video to you guys. This is not a competition show, but rather a plotline-driven episodic movie. If everything goes right, the first part is expected to come out sometime in 2022. Now, this is a project I am extremely passionate about, so hopefully each episode will come out a lot more consistently than Object Madness ever did. But hold on, there is more. I now have a Patreon. If you would like to become a patron, it would not only really help out this channel, but it will allow you the opportunity to recommend a character. If you would like a character of yours to appear in Starlight, then the link to my Patreon will be in the description below. Pledging $9 will allow you to recommend a character and describe them to your own desire. Starlight the Musical will be set in a city, so consequently there will be hundreds of characters needed to help populate the area. Not only that, but for every month you pledge, you will be compensated with a new character recommendation. So you can recommend a new character every month, and you will be credited for every episode that they appear in. We are in production, so the window is currently open to recommend characters, but in a couple months it will be closed off because we need to have everything cemented. However, you will still be able to suggest a character, but they would have to appear in the following episode. Alright everybody, that is it for this video. I hope you can understand why I've decided to cancel Object Madness. It has been a lot of fun, but Starlight is going to be even more fun. So please stay tuned, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the near future. Finally, that's it.